So I want to do a quick follow-up discussion involving Dragon Ball Super Episode 87 and what is possibly, and I say possibly, a plot hole involving something that Android 17 said that I completely missed the first and second time watching the episode. And the reason why I say possible is because there may actually be an explanation. So thus, I want to have a quick, brief discussion with you guys about it. So let's get to it.
Greetings, everyone. Cell here. Subscribe to this perfect channel and follow Geekdom on the social media platforms. That will be all.
Now, the plot hole in question that I'm referring to, or at least the possible plot hole in question, came from the final few minutes of Dragon Ball Super Episode 87 with Goku and 17 having a discussion, and they're discussing Majin Buu and the end of the Buu arc when Goku used the power of everybody on Earth, as well as a few other places, to create a gigantic spirit bomb, a gigantic Genki Dama, to finally finish off Majin Buu. They discuss it, and 17 says, "Boo, you mean the one you beat with that spirit bomb?" Now, that all sounds fine, except for the fact that shortly after this, they made a wish to the dragon. Actually, it was about 6 months after Kid Buu was killed. They wished that the memories of Buu be wiped from everybody's brain. And thus, theoretically speaking, 17 should have absolutely no memory of Majin Buu. In the opening narration of the very first episode of Dragon Ball Super, the narrator actually reiterates this by saying that the memories of Buu was wiped away from people's memory, but it never really was specified which people. You can assume that they're talking about the Earthlings or the mortals, and if they are, then 17 would certainly be included in that, because even though he is a meta-human, he's an upgraded artificial human, he's still a human. He's still a human base, so it's natural to assume that, yes, that 17 should not remember Buu. I mean, that makes sense that 17 wouldn't remember Majin Buu. However, there might be a couple of reasons as to why this is. First and foremost, the whole extra wish that was made to wipe memories, this is something that is often forgotten by a lot of people, including even myself. Sometimes I even forget that wish, and I know some of you guys probably have as well, because it was sort of like an epilogue. It wasn't really a main part of the Buu arc. It was just something they threw in near the end, and the reason for that is so that Fat Buu, who was still around at the time and who was best friends with Mr. Satan, could still exist in the world and still be a civilian amongst the people without them being afraid of him. So one other possibility is that maybe when they made the wish, it was to erase the memory of just Fat Buu. It's never specified in the manga or anime which Buu they're actually referring to. So maybe the whole idea was, let's just wish away the memory of Fat Buu. That way people don't think that he is a criminal or a villain anymore. Now, if this is a plot hole, it certainly wouldn't be the first time this has happened. If you go back and watch the 2008 Jump Super Anime Tour special, Yo Son Goku and His Friends Return, that also has somewhat of a contradiction, because there are mortals who are building a hotel for Mr. Satan because he killed Buu. And I remember even back then when that special first came out, I remember tons of people in the community screaming plot hole, because it once again forgets that final wish. Now, that special was written, the first draft was written by Toriyama, but ever since the special aired, with the exception of the Battle of Gods movie, there's been literally no reference to it whatsoever. There was no reference in Resurrection F. There was no reference in any of the Dragon Ball Super arcs. Tarble, Abo, Kado, and everything that happened in that special just don't get talked about anymore, which has led to some fans thinking that it's no longer part of the main continuity, that Super erased over it. Well, that may or may not be true. I can't really come to a conclusion on that just yet, because Super's not really over, but even if you were to remove it, it still leaves, of course, this situation with 17. There are two possible explanations here as to why 17 remembers Majin Buu. One, which I think is the simplest one, is that he probably called 18, and this is kind of headcanon, but whatever. Him and 18 probably talked on the phone, and 18 probably told them everything that happened. That could be one. But number 2 seems to be a little bit more of a reasonable one, and one that has me thinking, and it comes from the prolific Twitter/Facebook personality known as Barack Obama, who theorized that it could be possible that the dragon was not strong enough to affect the brain of 17. Because remember, as it was stated in the Saiyan saga, when Oolong tried to get the dragon to kill Vegeta and Nappa, the dragon cannot grant a wish that supersedes the power of its creator. In that case, it was Kami, who was way weaker than Vegeta and Nappa, and in this case, it's of course Dende, who is significantly weaker than 17. So perhaps that is the explanation, that the dragon could not erase 17's memory because 17 is way, way, way too strong. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think this is a plot hole, or do you think one of these two explanations I gave makes sense? Let me know. Vote in the upper right hand corner. Plot hole, yes or no? I'm curious to get the community's thoughts on this. Thank you, as always, for watching the video. If you are new to Geekdom 101, punch that subscribe button. I do Dragon Ball, Star Wars, movies, and so much more. Surprises coming your way. Talk to you guys later.